Hello, everyone. Can you hear me through this microphone? Does it sound good? Great. Well, good evening. I am Zoe Hunter, an Innovation Fellow and Program Manager at the Tsai Center for Innovative Thinking at Yale, also known as Tsai City. I cannot thank you enough for being here tonight at the fall 2019 Accelerator Pitch Off. Our participants have been working extremely hard throughout the semester to refine, improve, test, move forward, and launch their inspiring ideas. And tonight, they're going to showcase these ideas for you, some of them for the first time publicly. So I'm really, really excited for you all to hear what they've been working on. Just to give you a brief overview of the flow tonight, we have 14 teams. Some of them are solo founders. Some of them are co-founders. They all will be delivering a 2-minute pitch. After that pitch, we'll open the floor for 2 to 3 minutes for question and answers from the audience. So please be engaged. Ask whatever questions you want to ask so that they can be sure to provide additional context for you. After the pitch off, we'll still have some food outside if you didn't get any yet. And it'll also be a time for you to connect with the teams and the founders to learn more about their endeavors. Please take advantage of that opportunity. Before we get into that, though, I want to introduce to you our MC for the night. He's been incredible to work with throughout the semester. So, Charley Hawkins is a junior at Yale College studying global affairs in architectural design. He focuses on how institutional and cultural development can encourage broad-based societal change. He has developed a modular furniture system supporting refugee organizations in Athens, Greece, and is in the process of implementing this and developing a language exchange program for the same organizations. Charley has been an incredible resource for the Accelerator throughout the semester, serving as the Tsai City Accelerator Coordinator. Without further ado, Charley.
Thank you so much, Zoe. So I wanted to start off tonight with a survey. But before I start with the survey, I need to tell you how to do the survey. So what I would like you to do right now is to get out your phones and text my code, which is pronounced Charley Hawkins 649 to 22333, and that will help you enter our survey session. For the rest of the night, you will text your answers to the survey questions to that same address. So for example, if I ask you a multiple choice question, you will send your answer B, B, C, D. Or if I ask you a survey question, which I'm about to do, you'll type out your full answer, and that'll be it. So I'll give you about 10 seconds to make sure you're all set up. You should get a text once you're done. Everybody good? Anyone need more time? Great. So I want to start with this question. What significant problems are you worried about? Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of big problems up there. Huge, of course, is climate, which seems to be looming over us all. Environment, sustainability, humanitarianism, racism, scarcity, hunger, food. The world is full of problems, it seems to you, and that's good because it seems like it's full of problems to me too. Our country and the world beyond is threatened. Our society is grappling with entrenched class-based and racial injustice. Climate change looms over us all. Our political system is dysfunctional, divided, increasingly corrupt, and under attack from a foreign power. And we are underinvesting in education, hamstringing our future's ability to address these problems. The scope of these issues is vast. And indeed, much of the business world is cast as complicit in their creation. So it can seem preposterous to propose that enterprise has a role to play in addressing these challenges. But that is exactly what we are proposing. Enterprises empower people. They do this by innovating, which makes the resources and services people need easier to access. This matters most to the most vulnerable in our society. So you see, enterprise, one run with society's best interests in mind, can be a force for a better, more just world. The 14 ventures you will hear from tonight embody that spirit. In a moment, you will hear from Hubleet, who wants to revolutionize access to the fitness industry. And they are just the beginning. Over the course of the night, you will hear from ventures in health, wellness, sustainability, civil discourse, social justice, education, and development. Each interdisciplinary, purpose-driven team is making its own mark on the world. They are the reason I am proud to work at Tsai City. They give me hope, and I hope they will give you some too. So as you listen to these pitches tonight, I ask of you one thing. Think of these ventures not just as carefully crafted, self-sufficient, innovative enterprises, which they are. Think of them also as the building blocks of a brighter future. Please give it up for Hubleet.
Thanks so much, Charlie.
Your mic.
Oh, my mic.
Right in front of you.
Is this working? No. All right, cool. All right, cool. So I'm going to get started. Are we good on time? All right. I'm Christina. I'm a junior at Yale, and I co-founded Hubleet, the original hub for athletes. Athletes are those of us who are invested in getting to our next level of health. I used to play tennis competitively. I injured my ankle in what turned out to be my last season of tennis, and I didn't have the help or experience that I needed to adapt how I trained or how I recovered. One injury led to the next, and I couldn't train for months. As I struggled to get back in shape, I went to classes. I tried to keep up with others, and I pushed my body in all the wrong ways. Ultimately, I jeopardized my relationship with fitness. Here's what I got out of my experience with one-size-fits-all fitness. 1, more injuries, and 2, a really frustrating lack of improvement. Many of us don't have personalized health and fitness services on our radars. What we don't realize is the best ones are at local businesses. Instead of bouncing between fitness trends every month, I work with the best personal trainers near me, and at half of the cost that I used to. I started Hubleet to provide unhindered access to trusted, personalized health and fitness services. Finding health and fitness professionals should be easy, transparent, and fast. Using Hubleet, you can find businesses you didn't even know existed, you can pick from their health professionals, and finally have a say on who you work with. Don't just let a receptionist decide based off of availability. And you can do this all knowing how much you're going to pay before you start. In the last 3 weeks, athletes have downloaded Hubleet in Boulder more than 100 times. We're hard at work onboarding organizations and their health professionals, and now we need help getting Hubleet to your cities. Take out your phones right now, go on the iOS App Store, download Hubleet, follow us on Instagram, and let us know what you think. Put your health back in your own hands. Find the trusted professionals your health demands. Just use Hubleet.
Okay, now we have 3 minutes for questions for Tina.
Yes.
How are you getting the trainers or the professionals that you work with? What's in it for them? I mean, obviously referrals, but.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first question you asked is how are we getting them? We're going door to door and working with people that we already know. We're working in neighborhoods that we're really familiar with. My co-founder lives in Boulder. He goes to CU Boulder. He's at the business school there. And again, we're just working in neighborhoods that we're familiar with. What's in it for them? There's a lot in it for them. There's marketing to really targeted audiences that are expressing interest in one-on-one health and fitness services. That's the primary thing. And then also there's this ability, as you can see on the app, to market your individual employees and your business. If you just click on that logo right there, you can show pictures, you can show hours, you can show more information about your business. That's really critical for people to know when they're picking them.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's your pricing model, and how are you making money?
Yes, that's a great question. So right now we are a subscription-based. We're working with like subscriptions. So the businesses that are on our platform pay a monthly subscription fee to be on our platform, and then we're working on implementing scheduling at select businesses. And the organizations and businesses that are on our platform pay their commissions for each session that's scheduled through our platform. Yes.
To clarify your question, is it just businesses or people directly also? And is it just personal fitness trainers, or is it nutritionists, anything else?
Yeah, so as you can see, there's Train and Recover. I'm going to answer your last question first there. We're working with physical therapists, personal trainers, nutritionists, chiropractors, acupuncture. We're working with all that entire kind of market, and one of our goals there is to get the markets to transcend each other, so people that are going to personal trainers can also see, oh, there's also a masseuse near me that I can use. Can you repeat your first question?
Do you have to be associated with a business, or can you sign up as an individual trainer and then find the location, and how do you play between those things?
Yeah, so we're working with just businesses right now as a means of vetting the people that are on our platform. So we vet all of the businesses and the health professionals that are on our platform to ensure that the quality is where we want it to be. And that's actually one of the biggest issues with the existing solutions is the fact that they're not all vetted. So what I try to do is you go online, you try to find a personal trainer, and a lot of times they look like they're working out of like someone's basement. It's like it's not great. Yes?
You're working with a team, or are you on your own?
Yeah, so I'm working with a team. I co-founded this, so like I mentioned, my co-founder Lachlan is at CU Boulder. We have a tech head, and then we work with other students and other people that are that kind of contribute to our product development, and then across the board we have a bunch of mentors and other people that are helping us with sales, marketing. There's a team behind this for sure.
Great, thank you so much, Hubly. Up next is another really exciting venture in the world of health. Exercise, of course, is really important, but so is the food we eat, and this next venture is all about that. Please give it up for Chi Foods.
Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany Leong. I am a first-year MBA student here at Yale. I have a background in food and agriculture, private equity, and investment banking. So I'm Chinese American, and growing up, my mom would make me a bunch of tasty and nutritious soups for me every day after dinner. It was part of my childhood. I didn't quite understand the benefits of these drinks until about 5 years ago when I developed some serious health issues surrounding food allergies. I cleaned up my diet and focused mainly on eating natural foods and found myself kind of making these soups and drinks that my mom would make for me growing up. It became kind of an obsession and a really strong hobby and passion of mine. And I noticed while doing this that there's a huge population in America right now that's moving towards living a more healthy lifestyle, and also superfoods have kind of boomed the past 5 or 10 years. Within traditional Chinese culture, there are hundreds of superfoods that have been used in China for thousands of years, but people don't really know about it in the Western market, and I understand why, because when I was buying these ingredients for my soups, I would have to go deep into Chinatown. I would walk into these grocery stores and pharmacies, and it's overwhelming. Everything's in Chinese. If you don't know the language, you don't really know what to do, and even if you do know the language, there's really not a lot of instructions on the packaging to tell you what to do with the herbs and fruits. So that's why I founded Chi Foods. Chi Foods is aiming to bring traditional Chinese superfoods to the Western market, and I am doing this through a ready-to-drink beverage line. It features superfoods such as the jujube, chrysanthemum flower, and hawthorn berry. They have been used traditionally for digestion aid, stress relief, kind of blood circulation, lots of different functional benefits. This will be kind of in your local grocery stores. Everyone can access it, and it's super nutritional. I've done about 70 taste tests around New Haven. I've gotten phenomenal feedback. I would love for you guys to try after as well. I have samples for everyone, and thanks, and looking forward to chatting.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we open for questions.
What's the consumption movement you're targeting? So at what point in the day, at what time of the day would this be?
Yeah, I mean, just any time of the day. Like, if you can have it with your lunch, you can wake up and drink it. It's served cold, so whenever you need something refreshing and naturally sweet to drink, yeah, just any time of the day. So I'm not quite there yet, but I have done kind of anonymous focus groups, and the consensus right now is about $2.99 or $3.
Great. Next question. Also a note, if you press the button in front of you and speak into the microphone, everyone can hear you. Yes.
Why the decision to make it a drink rather than just as raw foods that you can put in a smoothie or anything else?
Yeah, so that's a good question. These fruits are new flavors and new concepts that people don't quite understand. I think having a ready-to-drink beverage is a easy, low kind of upfront time for the consumer to try, versus like, if you give them like a jujube, like people don't really know what to do with it. So I'm hoping to build some brand loyalty through a ready-to-drink brand and kind of expand into other product lines, including ingredients or soup kits and broths.
I was wondering, what is your marketing strategy to bring this new concept to the consumers in the Western market? Yeah, so it's kind of two target groups I'm looking at. One is millennials, so 22 to kind of 40-year-olds that are health conscious, well-educated, do pay premiums for healthy foods. And so, I mean, I think this will have to have a strong social media presence. So, Instagram, kind of blogs, and that whole gambit. The second group is kind of people like myself, Chinese American or other Asian Americans, where, we grew up eating this stuff, and it's a sense of nostalgia. So with each generation that passes, some of this tradition and recipes get lost, and Chi Foods is a way for people like myself to also feel connected with who they are.
Yes. Final question.
So what's your, do you need to get an FDA approval for this food? Are you putting it as like a nutritional supplement, or what is the category?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a health drink. All foods that are manufactured and processed need to go through FDA approval. So to sell it, I'll have to get that.
Last question. All right, thank you very much, Chi Foods.
Thank you.
Up next is our final health-oriented venture of the night. This is Juno. Please give it up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Phyllis, and I'm a mechanical engineering major at Yale College, and I am the founder of Juno. I would like to invite you all into the lives of 1.9 billion people. That is 26% of the global population who are women of reproductive age who therefore menstruate. Dysmenorrhea, commonly known as period pains or menstrual cramps, is the leading cause of short-term recurrent absenteeism from work or school among women. In sub-Saharan Africa alone, where I'm from, 1 in 10 girls misses school due to their periods. Currently, to treat dysmenorrhea, women turn to heating pads, they take pain-relieving medications such as ibuprofen, which is an inflammatory, and they'll even turn to electrical nerve stimulation. All of these therapies are separate from menstrual products that exist today. A significant advancement in menstrual product design has been the period cup, because the same cup can be used over and over again. However, women have expressed that the folding mechanisms required to insert the cup are unintuitive and intimidating. The Juno capsule, on the other hand, is estimated to be the size of a peach seed. Once inserted into the opening of the vagina, squeezing the bulb at the bottom of the cup causes Juno to extend, open, and fit itself inside the fornix, which is just outside the cervix. The extendable stem includes a valve, which is part of a drainage system. Therefore, the cup does not have to be removed in order to be emptied. The second function of the stem is to induce a negative pressure that creates a massage-like effect in the uterus. This form of therapy reduces inflammation. It causes uterine blood vessels to dilate, which in turn facilitates blood flow and enhances circulation. In a nutshell, this form of therapy is a treatment for the pain and discomfort associated with dysmenorrhea. Once it is time to remove the cup, when you pull out Juno, it encapsulates the blood upon exit to avoid any spillage. Juno prides itself in being a universal product. Because it is a mechanical solution, Juno is able to be adaptable to the several diverse contexts of 1.9 billion menstruators globally. If you would like to participate in any of Juno's trial periods, I would be happy to speak to you afterwards, and you can sign up, and I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juno. Questions?
Do you already have got a patent, or are you going to file one?
So right now, because we are still working on a final prototype, we haven't gotten there yet. But I guess with this, the technology involved in actually creating that massage-like effect, that could be something we'll consider for patenting. Thank you.
Yes?
Yeah, just a clarification. Is it reusable or is it disposable?
It's reusable. So similar to a normal menstrual cup right now, this can be reused and actually stay in longer because you don't have to take it out in order to empty it. You can simply just extend the stem and just drain it out.
Anybody on this side?
One of the things that I kind of thought of when I was thinking this is like the kind of same issue with like tampons. Are you doing anything to address kind of this like fear of TSS?
Toxic shock syndrome. So the good thing with this product is it's not really going to be inventing the wheel in terms of trying to think of the immune response. And so, I mean, cups have looked into this as well to see how you can avoid TSS, which is toxic shock syndrome. And they've managed to alleviate that. It's all based on the materials that are chosen, which are all medical-based silicone. So TSS can be avoided.
How do you plan funding the rollout of this product?
So funding for this product, I do understand, especially because it is designed to be very universal, reaching contexts of women who aren't really voiced as often, and talking about women in post-crisis and humanitarian settings, women in rural settings. I guess definitely trying to come up with a scheme that's also sort of like buy one, donate one, finding a way to sort of just spread a larger message as a whole, trying to get people to understand that not everyone has access to these kind of products, and so hopefully through that I can receive funding for it. Yes.
Hi, I wonder, so I think it's a great product. I use a menstrual cup, so it's great that this is even better. But I know a lot of women or people who menstruate have issues with the idea of switching from pads or tampons to this new sort of solution in menstrual cups and something that's reusable. Have you thought about how, probably in your messaging or as you're funding, how you're going to work around changing the perception of menstrual cups as opposed to a pad, for example?
Yes, definitely, that is a good question. So trying to tell the narrative that currently disposable products, a woman can use up to 250 pounds worth of disposable menstrual products. So starting with that, and as we shift to a more sustainable way of life, hopefully that message can get across. And as well as the fact that the drawback we realized from doing research with tampons and cups is the fact that they are invasive. And that's what sort of puts women off from trying them in the first place, which really influenced the design of Juno, which literally is estimated to be the size of a peach seed. And that's just to not, allow women to be intimidated by the size of it. And so hopefully they'll be more comfortable using it.
Last question. Thank you, Juno.
Thank you.
Okay, up next, we're transitioning to a different portion of the evening. This portion of the evening has to do with mental wellness. Physical wellness is important, mental wellness equally so. So before we start that, I have another survey that I'd like to share with you all. And it asks the question, studies suggest that spirituality and mindfulness, ... you fill in the blank. Last answer's in. All right, so trick question. There are actually 3 correct answers to this question. And they're the first 3. Studies suggest that spirituality and mindfulness contribute to higher life expectancies. They help you perform better on important tasks because they help you focus. And they help you build stronger relationships with your colleagues because they actually make you more pro-social. As for whether or not spirituality makes you less interesting to be around, the jury's still out. So, as we can see, spirituality and mindfulness are important forces in people's lives, and they play an important role in helping us regulate stress, form better relationships with our colleagues, and they're generally very important to our mental well-being. These next 2 ventures address this critical topic, and with that, I would like to introduce you to our first of 2 ventures, Holo Incorporated.
Right. My apologies for the 8% of you who think I may be less interesting to be around, but nonetheless. Hey everyone, my name is Brian Enriquez. I'm a founding team member of Holo, and I'm the head of customer success. So we are a faith tech company that is passionate about helping users explore their faith through technology. People have a deep need to experience spirituality in a modern way, and that's exactly what we offer. We have a world-class, audio-guided smartphone application that has a beautiful user interface and that is intuitive to use. As you can see on the slide, the way it works, user picks a particular session, they hit the length of time, and they hit go. You hear a soothing voice guide you through a meditation. Our content is based on 2,000 years worth of Christian and Catholic theology and spirituality, and it helps users find peace through the busyness of their day. There's roughly 1,300 meditation apps currently in the App Store. Of those 1,300, only 5 are Christian. 5. So we are targeting specifically Catholics as a starting point. That's roughly 1 to 1.2 billion people globally that are currently underserved in this incredibly important segment. Up until this point, our app has been downloaded 45,000 times, and we've completed 250,000 sessions since we launched in December of this past year. I can get up here and talk about how great I think it is, but I think it's more powerful to hear from some of the users. So I'm gonna read you a quick quote here if I have the time. I don't consider myself to be very religious, but Holo has been helpful to gently guide me through prayer and meditation, something that has been missing from my life from a very long time. This is the app that I have been looking for years. In so many ways, this is an amazing, life-changing app. I could go on and share other stories from users, but I'm incredibly excited to be here and share Holo with you all. I'm excited for the future, and I'd love to connect with anyone who's excited about this in the same way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Holo. Any questions?
Any data about the engagement metrics, like how many people download the app, come back on weekly basis?
Yeah, so the day 30 retention number is how many people download the app and then show up within 30 days, 30 days later still use the app. I think the benchmark for this type of segment is about 20%, and we're tracking it currently at 29 to 30%.
What's your monetization system?
Yeah, so we are legally incorporated as a benefit corporation, so we strike the mix between trying to be innovative and scale like a typical company, but also have the social mission that's really important to us. So it's free to download, and it's free to use. There's an optional subscription that you can pay to unlock additional content. For example, you can unlock our most popular sleep section, which includes meditations on falling asleep or helping you kind of reflect on your day before you go to bed. It's $8.99 a month for the month-to-month plan. And it's $59.99 a year billed annually, which is roughly $5 a month if you do the annual plan.
So most meditation, you want to turn off your phone or put your phone away. How do you encourage users to look at their phone while they're meditating?
Yeah, so I think from day one, we had this philosophy of really being audio first. So I don't have the slide, but if you would have seen the first version of the app, it would have not looked as visually appealing. When you pray and you hit a session in the app, the screen sort of goes dark. And so it's really about the experience that you have with the audio.
Do you plan to expand to other denominations and religions beyond Catholicism?
Yeah, so for us, Catholicism was the starting point just because we felt that it was sort of the largest segment, and on top of that, it wasn't really being addressed. And then all of us on the founding team have that tradition and that faith background. So from the point of view of being genuine and being able to connect with users, that's why we started there. I think there's a lot of potential for expansion to other denominations within Christianity. A number of our users are agnostic atheists. Some have background in Judaism, as well as other evangelical and Orthodox denominations as well. So there's been success up until now with other groups, but I think for the first few years, we're focusing on this group and then seeing how we can expand to others.
Last question.
That's a great question. So we have 3 fantastic content leads. They're all friends of mine from college. They'll have masters in divinity and theology, and so it's all in-house content. The actual techniques that are used are widely available, and as I mentioned, are based in sort of the spirituality that already exists, but we make it relevant to sort of the modern day by having guest sessions, by having topics involving patience or gratitude, which is relevant as Thanksgiving approaches, and that's how we connect with our users.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much, Holo.
Thank you.
It seems that mindfulness and technology are converging because the next venture that we're going to be hearing from is doing very much a similar thing. Please give it up for Jollity.
Before we get started, quick show of hands. Who here has ever gone to an event but felt lonely in a crowd? You're not alone. 76% of Americans have experienced loneliness, which essentially is the discrepancy between your desired social life and your actual one. Now, loneliness is a fact of life, but if you experience it for more than 6 months, it can lead to increased anxiety, depression, shrinking your social network, and even increasing your morbidity. And throughout the interviews that we've done across different target segments and different cultures, we found that outgoing high schoolers and incoming college students are one of the most vulnerable populations because of the massive amount of change in their life. For instance, 19-year-old Brian from Los Angeles tried yoga and meditation apps after he struggled to adapt to his cliquey Minnesota college campus. But still feeling depressed and under constant pressure, he didn't know where to turn to until he heard about Jollity.
Jollity is the Pokemon Go of intentional mindfulness. Instead of trying to solve this problem as a one-off solution, what we do is we integrate with other ecosystem players and try to solve this problem by tackling all the 5 pillars: fighting negativity, unable to exercise, unable to concentrate while solving problems, unable to maintain your emotional intelligence, and lastly, maintaining a social presence in which a lot of us are lacking sometimes. So what we do is we create this ecosystem and we help them to come out from that negative state using Yale's Mood Meter app and then use cognitive behavioral therapy to ensure that they are in their state of happiness. Also, we have an augmented reality feature which appears as a Pokemon-like creature on your shoulder, which is basically your spirit animal. And as you evolve, you can see the happiness on your shoulder. And we feel that we can, in some time, bring 100 million people worldwide, and we can stop them from going into depression. We started 3 months ago, and we are currently in talks with 3 schools across Connecticut and the Washington area. And in a few years' time, I hope we are there.
So join us in the fight to positivity by helping us connect with different schools in order to ensure that our success aligns so that we can launch beta tests in the next 6 months. Thank you.
Hey guys, my question is, what platform do you operate on? Are you like app, web page, or what's your main way to, yeah?
So we are starting off as an app, but we'll actually go on to a web-based version very soon. But like I mentioned, we just started in August, so we're not there yet.
Yeah, but we are planning to do an app in order to enable the AR feature, but we also want to enable a website because we understand there are some hardware and software requirements, and so we want to be able to adapt to different abilities because schools may not have the proper equipment, which is also something we're scoping out.
What is your marketing strategy and what makes this different from other apps?
Yeah, sure. So our marketing strategy is to go straight to school teachers because we understand there's large sales cycles when you're talking to school administrators. So we first want to go to school teachers, talk about engagement and increased focus, which can be measured through performance. And what they can do is they can assign Jollity to one or all of their classes, mandating a certain period of time, like let's say 30 minutes a week. And so it's like part of their homework assignment, and then students go on our application, they download, and initially it'll be free because you want to understand the data, iterate on our product, and then we'll talk about B2B sales to the school administrators, extend to the school districts, and then do a B2B2C possibility with customization of the spirit animal.
Right, and for the second part, all the other apps out there, they say you are trying to beat loneliness by talking to an AI assistant on your phone. Basically, you go ahead and do it, and you are basically falling in love with your assistant and not with others. And that's something we are trying to break. So we are saying, go out and talk to people. It's going to be a resilience challenge. Go through it. You will be getting a very positive outcome at the end of it. So that's what we are trying to promote.
And then additionally, the competitive advantage that we feel I have is our algorithms and our metrics on our back end on how we optimize with how do you bond with like people versus people that are unlike yourself. Because the one main problem with technology is you create echo chambers of like-minded individuals, and so we want to combat that through this online-offline interaction.
What is it about what you describe sounds so universal? So what is it about the content that you've decided that you want to target just as one segment of the market?
Yes.
As
So
opposed to everyone.
yes. So ideally, I mean, you're right. Loneliness affects different target segments over different cultures. What we did is we wanted to choose a segment that we could easily access to through an organization, and then we could measure their performance within that organization, and then when they go off to work. And so we felt that in terms of our long-term strategy of making sure to engage multiple segments, it'd be easiest to target that, and then we'd go downstream to middle school, elementary, and then upstream when they enter the workplace, they can be ambassadors of change and really make the case for, this has been successful in my life, let's adopt this. So that was the strategy behind it.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have. Thank you very much, Jollity. Up next, I have another little questionnaire for you. I hope these are interesting, because otherwise. So this question is, diverse natural ecosystems do not. And this one only has one answer. And if you don't know, just give it a guess. Well, I thought I had fooled you guys, but it seems most of you are on point. Diverse natural ecosystems, in fact, do not provide countercyclical boosts to property values. Good job to those of you who got it. So I think the main takeaway from this questionnaire is that our natural resources are important to us. They are an important part of our pharmaceutical pipeline. They do contribute to our climate stability and resiliency, and they do mitigate against systemic agricultural risk that monocultures in our food stream expose us to. So these next few ventures are a really critical part of addressing the challenges to sustainability that we face today. Please give it up for Grantos Cosmetics.
Hi, I'm Lillian.
And I'm Bridget.
We're students at the School of Forestry, and we are Grantos Cosmetics. Nature does not produce garbage. When a tree falls to the ground, fungi decompose it, produce dirt where new trees grow. We live embedded within nature, and yet our linear system of take, make, and dispose is causing vast imbalances of resources on this earth. Our solution is to close that loop and to create products that actually replenish the resources it takes to make them. Last year, the cosmetics industry produced 180 billion units of packaging, the majority of which were not recyclable. This plastic ends up in landfills, in waterways, in oceans. Our paperboard packaging is completely recyclable and compostable. So when you're done using it, you can put it in your recycling stream, or you can put it in your compost pile and one day use it to plant new trees. In addition, to fully close the loop, for every product we sell, we plant one tree. So we're replenishing the resources it takes to make our packaging.
So the cosmetics industry needs a makeover. Every day we're using chemicals that go through little testing and regulation. Lily and I both believe that we should be using ingredients that are good for your body and good for your skin. Our products are made with all natural ingredients, they're vegan, and we don't test on animals. These products are made for women who want to look and feel their most confident and elegant selves. We're hoping to fulfill the needs of women who are looking to lessen their environmental impact through their cosmetics consumption, but don't feel that they have an option to do so currently in this market. Our goal is to break the wasteful, unhealthy cycle of plastic packaging and synthetic ingredients and provide that sustainable alternative. If you believe in cosmetics that are produced in accord with the earth, please join us. You can find us on Instagram, and also please check out our Kickstarter page where we will be for a limited time. Thank you.
Questions?
Hi. Is it just the packaging, or is there something sort of more friendly, nature-friendly about the products themselves?
So our products are paraben-free, phthalate-free, sulfate-free, gluten-free. They're vegan, and on top of that, we have a very meticulous eye to sourcing, where they're coming from, using organic ingredients wherever possible. So these products are all natural and don't irritate or have the same long-term health effects that a lot of cosmetics on the market currently do, because cosmetics are not regulated by the FDA. So companies aren't required to put ingredient lists, they're not required to put expiration dates, so we want to sort of raise the bar with our products and use the best quality we can and be very transparent about our ingredients. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Cosmetics are a large category. Now, we know here what Grantos is not. Can you tell us what it is? Meaning, I'd like to see what does it look like?
So natural cosmetics market is growing. It's growing at a faster rate than the overall market for beauty. And so we are really part of that trend. And in addition, vegan cosmetics is growing. Since 2012, Google searches of the word vegan beauty doubled every year. Last year, there were 90 million searches for specific natural cosmetics ingredients. So we want to be at the forefront of the natural cosmetics trend.
Yeah, and large retailers like Sephora, they are ahead of this game. I don't know if any of you have checked out Clean at Sephora, but it's the most fabulous thing to stock. You can go in and find all of the ingredients listed and what Sephora has gone through a rigorous testing process to deem clean. And that's where I feel like Lillian and I are trying to push into that market. So it's definitely out there in the major retailers, for sure.
Last question. Do you guys like to know?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So my question is more regarding the packaging. So like more companies have tried this before and like they all have experienced problems with the leakages. My question is, how did you treat it? Or like, did you treat it anyhow special to prevent the leakages, and like how did you like make it waterproof? Or like, because most of the cosmetics are probably going to be water based, so how did you solve that problem?
Yeah, so there's 1,000,001 ways to formulate cosmetics, which is good because you can formulate the cosmetics to work in accord with your packaging. So this packaging, it's made from paperboard, but it's oil resistant. And our current products are either they're made from plant-based oils and waxes with some pigment. So that you see here, this is our lip and cheek stick. It provides lip color and cheek color. And the paperboard is oil resistant. So it like safely holds the product. And then we're also using a lot of powder cosmetics. And so these also do not have the problem of like potentially getting, like soaking through or something.
Thank you very much, Grantis. So with sustainability efforts, changing the products we consume is important, but just as important, if not more so, is changing the infrastructure that sustainability efforts work upon. With that, please welcome Carbon Restoration.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ben Christensen from Carbon Restoration. I'm going to start out with a few quick questions. So what represents the largest opportunity for carbon sequestration to address climate change in the United States right now? Trees. What saved US cities over $12 billion last year in energy savings? Trees. What connected over 15 million strangers to meet up in cities last year? Tinder. But trust your instincts on that one. But just like dating apps, trees play a powerful role in cities, and we're helping to revitalize communities by getting more trees and more carbon in the ground. So this past Tuesday, we presented to a group of 15 major US cities on our project, and it works like this. So a city has climate-related goals. To help achieve them, they can expand their tree cover, getting more carbon storage and more co-benefits from the trees. But there's upfront costs, and those are really high. Because of that, they partner with us. We cover those upfront costs with financing from blended capital. We connect cities to carbon and forestry experts, and we partner with tree care service providers to plant and maintain those trees. And we return revenue to our investors by solving existing problems in tree care through tree care contracting improvements, urban wood use improvements, and other revenue sources. So where are we now? So this project is being incubated by the World Resource Institute, and we're partnered with them. We partnered recently with ICLEI and the Arbor Day Foundation, two major US organizations, to send out a survey to 3,000 US cities to finish filling in the gaps of our understanding of how our financial model works. We won a $25,000 grant to support a feasibility study that is really built on this work. In addition to Tsai City and Climate Change Innovation Seed grants, we're presenting to a major philanthropic donor in December for the next phase of our project, a pilot. We aim to revitalize American communities by restoring tree cover. Cities are our first step. We're looking for core team members and investors and mentors to help make us pilot ready. Thank you.
Question?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Question on, have you given a thought about the business model, part one? And secondly, like, how do you plan to differentiate yourself? Can somebody else come in the market, and is it more of a first mover advantage that you're looking at, or how can you sustain that?
Yeah, so first question around business model. So how do we support ourselves? So essentially we are a connector. We're connecting cities to financing, and there's some financial revenue that's embedded in that. Additionally, we have services that we're planning to provide on. So things like tree care monitoring, access to networks and other expertise that really allow us to generate revenue and to support ourselves. In terms of differentiating, so we're trying to become leaders in natural climate solution implementation. So really focused on that. So there's a number of companies and there's a lot of growing work within the NGO space around how do we monitor, how do we maintain, but there's a big gap between the amount of investment and the amount of people who can actually develop projects. So we're really fulfilling that gap. Other questions? Yeah.
How are you planning to scale?
Yeah, so great question. So our first project is to get a city to agree to do a pilot with us. That's where we're moving towards right now. We're in conversations with several cities. And essentially that's gonna allow us to zoom in, get granular, vet our model, and really build from there. Once we do that and have a proof of concept, we can use the networks that we're a part of to really scale to cities across the country.
Last question.
Yeah.
Are there partners that you can work with for the actual tree planting? Are there ready-made, services to do that out there?
Yeah, so the tree care planting market is one that is ready to be disrupted. So tree planting right now is primarily done by limited city budgets as well as nonprofits, and there's a big opportunity to foment that with private finance, and that's what we're really trying to engage. Additionally, there's a lot of tree care service providers, so people who are already managing trees, and they also do some tree planting, but that market is about 24 billion folks, and of that, the average size of a tree care entity is 2 people, and so there's a really big opportunity for economies of scale to engage in that market.
Great. Thank you very much, Carbon Restoration. Up next is our final sustainability venture. This is 4Bs International. Please give it up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Martine Bruno, and I'm one of the co-founders of 4Bs International. I am a Yale Divinity student, and I'm also a Haitian American. Along with my co-founders, Lovita Baptiste, Laurent Desmateis, and Dr. Johansson Lacour, who we would consider Native Natal. We believe in this vision to create a sustainable and a viable Haiti for Haitians by Haitians. And our mission at 4Bs is to help create a sustainable Haiti through education, community building, and eco-alternative solutions for agriculture and energy. And our first project, one of our first Bs, is biodigester. So imagine, in your brain, you just came out from the Dominican Republic and you're on the plane, and you see the green Dominican Republic, and then the Dominican Republic starts getting brown. That's Haiti. Unfortunately, it's kind of funny, but it's not. It's serious, because a lot of Haiti is 71% of deforestation. Okay, and part of that is the cooking practices. A lot of people cannot well, charcoal, as a matter of fact, charcoal is 4.7 part of the Haitian GDP. That's a lot of charcoal. That is how people who can't afford charcoal, they cut down trees. And so biodigester is not a new thing in Haiti. The problem is how it's been given. And this is why community building is very, very important. We are lucky to have been under the auspices of the HEAT Foundation that has been working in our target area since 2006. The people do not need a charity. They don't need to be given anything. They need opportunity. And so we are fundraising, we're having some shows, but we also would love your help in helping to buy 10 biodigesters to have a community center where everybody can come in and see how the biodigester works, and they're not so suspicious of it. Okay, so my name is Martine Bruno at yale.edu if you want to touch base with me and maybe contribute, or if you have any ideas. And we have a show tomorrow in New Hampshire. We'd love for you to come. Thank you.
Questions?
Yes, please. Oh, that's great. Thank you. So it's kind of like your own digestion, right? Organic material comes in, sometimes gas comes out, right? And other things come out, right? So it's kind of like the same thing, right? So it's you put organic waste into the digester. There's little microbes happening. Anaerobic digestion happens, and what it gives off is the methane and CO2, and also a byproduct is the bioslurry, which will help. The bioslurry is very important because what we'd like to do, a lot of Haitians, they own their own land, but the land is infertile. And so with the fertilizer that we will make from the biodigester, it will help regenerate the land. And eventually what we'd like is a micro business. We would like to empower people with what they have already, but the land needs nutrients. It needs to be revitalized. Yes, please.
What are the 3 other B's?
Oh, okay, it's not there. Bees, essentially we would like to have repopulate the bee population. Biogas, bands, that's how we are promoting. It's our marketing strategy. We have concerts. We have a concert tomorrow in New Hampshire, and we have a concert in Manhattan in December, promoting Haitian culture, because a lot of times when people think about Voudon and they think about all these different things, they think demons, but it's really an earth-based culture. And that's one thing we want to promote to people is like, let's be one with the earth. I'm a divinity major. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else? Come on. I know this was interesting.
Is it for people to individually bring their home waste to the site, or are you setting up a collection system? How are you collecting?
So first we have to get them to use it, right? I'd love every home to have a biodigester. But what we're doing is our office is also a community center where we will just be collecting the waste so we can power the community center so that there's constant electricity in this specific place. So it's a place that they know that they always can count on. But eventually, we would love people to bring their waste, but we also would like them to have it in their own homes, but they have to get used to the product.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have. Thank you very much, 4Bs. So up next, we are moving into the portion of our evening that deals with civil discourse and social justice. Martine already touched on this with her venture, which is by Haitians for Haitians. But up next, we're going to 2 more ventures which focus on it even more clearly. So with that, could we have our next survey, please? This question is, as of 2017, about what percentage of Americans believe divisions between political parties are very strong? All right. So the correct answer is C, 64%. So maybe things aren't quite as bad as they seem. I mean, they're still pretty bad, don't get me wrong, but maybe not quite as bad as they seem. But still, political division is clearly a problem in this country, and I think you can see that just by turning on the television. So it's important that we create opportunities for political divisions to heal. One way that we can heal political divisions is to enfranchise those people who have been historically excluded from political conversations, and that's what this next venture is all about. Please give it up for the Justice Impact Movement.
Hi, I'm Dieter Tejada. I'm the Executive Director of the National Justice Impact Bar Association. Let's start with my journey to this. I was wrongfully convicted as a kid. When I went to prison, I realized that injustice was not limited to Dieters. And I also realized that I had a calling. I decided to go to law school. I needed to do something about the injustice that I saw. I was not alone. 10 years later, I've graduated law school, and I'm now running in a bar association of formerly incarcerated attorneys. Let's start with what a bar association is. There's 3 bars. One is an exam. The second one is a licensing body. They decide whether or not you're an attorney. The third one is what we are, voluntary bar. So we are working to advance our people in the field of law and to advance the field of law generally and justice for all. How do we do that? Well, there's a lot of barriers to entry. It's not very easy to become an attorney if you have this background. It was difficult for me and for others. We're working to change that. We're working with partners in the field, LSAC, which is the College Board of Law School. The second thing is we have field trainings. We're going to expand the most valuable thing that I bring to the field is my experience and the insights that I have. And the same for all the people that are entering the field with the background. So we do that with CLEs. And that's continuing legal education and a lot of other different trainings. I'm going too long. I'm going to shorten this down. The third thing is we have career placement, so we're going to get our people jobs too. That's great. We're going to do a lot of other things, but I just need to say that there's a quarter of the population is justice impacted. A quarter. 76 million people have a felony, 3 million people in prison, and right now we have a chance to change that. And luckily, we have the future, and we have allies from the future, and Mike is one of them. He's a student, and he's explain who you are.
And I'm the creative director and director of youth. So the bar association, how bar associations work traditionally is they consist of the 501c6, which is the trade association, and the foundation, which is a 501c3. The foundation right now is what will kickstart the bar, which will eventually be a self-sustaining system, which will follow the existing model that other minority bars use. So this has been done before, but the whole idea is to use people's lived experience with the bar association. Now, the bar association will also be supporting the students, the youth, media, the arts have been a part of any social movement. So what the bar will also do will support the Student Leadership Network. Right now we have an active group at Yale through the Yale Undergraduate Prison Project that's reaching out to other schools with other prison projects and other organizations that are involved in criminal justice reform. And we want to set up this network. And what we want to do is coordinate a joint action to move on the administrations of all these different schools and ask them to make justice-impacted individuals a protected class. That way schools can no longer discriminate in their admissions policy based on someone's prior conviction. So by doing this, simple ask, we can open the doors to education, allow justice-impacted individuals to become more competitive in the job market, make it easier for them to reintegrate back into society. And working with the bar, which will be opening the legal field, there's a lot that can get done. But there's also a lot of excitement around all the different collaborations that could happen through the Student Leadership Network and the conference.
Thank you.
Questions?
One very quick question.
So how will previously incarcerated attorneys improve outcomes for their clients?
Well, I have intimate, if I were, I'm an executive director, but if I were to practice defense, I would know tactics that are used specifically to wrongfully incarcerate people. I also know about the back end results. Right now, when the coalition that we've put together includes Desmond Meade, Time 100 Person of the Year, an attorney, well, not licensed, but he led to the biggest enfranchisement of voters in the country, and I don't know how many years, 1-point-something million. Des is incredible, and that's just one of our people. The other one is one of them, Sean Hopwood, First Step Act, the biggest criminal justice reform act passed by a president in forever. So yeah, time. Sorry.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have. Thank you very much, Justice Impact Movement. Ooh. Up next, we have Librex.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan. I'm here with Daria and Arthur, and we're the founding team of Librex. We're all Yale College students. So about 6 months ago, I was reflecting on my time at Yale, and I realized it can be really hard to express yourself on this campus. I mean, when you're talking about a sensitive issue, you sometimes feel like your reputation's at risk. And there isn't really a place where you can ask in a judgment-free zone some question that might be at the top of your mind. And that's why we created Librex. What Librex is a social media app for Yale students to privately and anonymously discuss what's happening on campus. So you open up the app, you post your idea, you reply to other people's ideas, and you vote on the ideas that you like. It was really important to us to create the most private social media experience. And what that means is that we record the least amount of data possible, and we team with lawyers to create a privacy system so we guarantee the anonymity of our users so the students feel comfortable posting on the app. This is especially important to us because right now 61% of college students say that campus culture deters them from speaking out on campus. So we'd love for you to join us in the revolution of open discourse on campus by downloading our app on the App Store. So download Librex today. Thank you.
We have time for a few questions.
Given that it sounds like a neutral platform, right? So you upvote, downvote, or something like that. How do you think this will not just represent the same dynamics that we see on campus, just online?
A lot of those dynamics are rooted in the fact that people cannot feel comfortable when they're discussing certain issues where their name is connected with that. This is rooted in a certain sense of alienation that we see on this campus. And this is rooted in the anxiety that, I don't know, like, even I have that 10 years down the line, someone will Google my name and something will come up. And it's just the feeling of anxiety. And what we're trying to do with the anonymity part, we're trying to get rid of that barrier. We've already seen results. We have 126 users, 56 of which, are active. And on a daily basis. On a daily basis, that's a fun thing. And we've already seen that the discussions that people are having are different from what we generally perceive.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. How do you ensure that you only have Yale students or Yale community members?
For now, the mechanism that we have implemented is like by doing email verification. So if you have a yale.edu email address, you can get on. This is not just for undergraduate students, are probably our biggest demographic and like biggest target audience, but the app is also open for faculty and graduate students. We think that Yale community is Yale community in the broader sense of the word.
Yes.
In the past, similar apps like this that have had anonymity have led to widespread harassment, racist comments, white nationalists using the app to actually congregate because they know that their identity cannot be linked to their comments. So how does your app actually combat or address these issues which have come up time and time again?
I'm smiling so much because obviously this is a question that we get asked literally every single day while we're doing marketing or pitching. So there are two different aspects that the gentleman is implying in his comment. The first is the yik-yak aspect, when people were just spreading gossip and that it just led to severe cases of cyberbullying. The second thing is 4chan, which got us the white nationalists and stuff like that. So what we have in mind is yik-yak became this toxic because first of all, it was location-based. Second of all, it was rooted in gossip. Our content policy explicitly bans gossip, spam, and sweeping statements about core identity groups. I think the way that we formulated that kind of explicitly bans things like racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, other sorts of discrimination. And in regards to how we implement that policy, it is all community-based, as in the community reports the posts, and then in regards to the content policy, if it does not fit in, it gets removed. We are trying to build something called the moderation committee, which is us, we are in talks with some people that are either thought leaders or people who might be interested in that, from diverse backgrounds, both in terms of their political views and in terms of their lived experience. That will get to help us with the reporting and essentially, construct something great with us. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Librex. So this does unfortunately bring us to the final section of the evening. This has to do with education and development initiatives. Can I have the next? Thank you. So I'd like to ask you this question to get your mind in the zone. Investments in early childhood education are believed to bring a long-term return on investment equivalent to what percentage per year? Great. So the correct answer to this question is C. They are expected to bring a return on investment of about 9 to 13% per year. That's enormous. That's really big for those of you who aren't familiar with returns on investment, but I'm betting most of you are. Right? So, as we can see, education and development are an important part of making sure that our society is healthy and prosperous for a long time to come. With that, please give it up for our next venture. Sorry, can't remember everything. Develop.
Hi everyone, I'm Chia. I'm currently a sophomore studying computer science and art in Yale College. I think we all know that at no other point in time has creation been so accessible. We're seeing millions of startups annually. Innovation is everywhere, but also innovation has never been so divisive. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and the contrast between our ecosystems is clear. In its most successful spaces, technology is incredibly student-driven, but this isn't the case for most of the world. 90% of startups in the Philippines have been founded in the past 5 years. Less than 3% of those have been founded by students. Develop is a nonprofit investing in and accelerating youth-led innovation in emerging markets. We're democratizing opportunities and access to technology, shifting the tech pipeline to nurture student founders. I founded Develop when I was 16 in my high school to fill the visible gap I saw in tech education. Over the past 3 years, I witnessed another daunting issue amidst this huge tech boom. Majority of Philippine startups that have reached financing are started by expats or foreign educated founders. Currently, there's no investment in local talent from the bottom up. We're neglecting an important source of innovation, the young. Now, Develop sustainably engages and supports student interest in tech through community, education, and our Accelerator. By investing in student founders, we're diversifying innovation in our tech ecosystems. Since our founding, we've run educational programming through outreaches, workshops, and courseware to over 75,000 high school and college students. This year, we launched our Social Impact Accelerator, one of the only student-centric accelerators in Southeast Asia. One of our teams launched a voter education tool that reached over 5 million Filipinos in less than 3 weeks for our midterm elections. We've also become the primary student voice in advising government and corporate initiatives to help develop tech education programs in the Philippines. Now, I want you to be a mentor and an advocate for the work we do. Help me drive innovation in my home. I'm looking to form Develop's board of advisors as we continue to grow our network and scale, especially in expanding our accelerator to the rest of the ASEAN region beyond the 3 countries we currently operate in. I'm a teenager going through an accelerator for my accelerator, so I'd love your guidance. And I would love to talk to you about the amazing innovation that's happening in Southeast Asia and why you should care about it. I'm here to spread the word that Silicon Valley isn't the only home for innovation anymore, and that Develop believes that every student from every part of the world deserves to be a part of developing the future. Thank you.
Time for 2 questions. We're running a little late here.
How does Develop operate? Do you where do you the money that you invest into these startups? Do you take an equity stake? Do you just provide mentoring? How does it work?
Yeah, so that's a good question. In terms of operation, most of our funding has usually come through our education programs, but for our accelerator, this year we focused on social impact initiatives. Not a lot are necessarily profit-generating ventures, but for the teams that are, we do take a cut of their equity to help funnel back into our programs. But for now, we're mainly focusing on developing education and the infrastructure to even get more student founders into the system. But yeah, we usually take a cut if the students plan on building products that generate profits, or we partner with companies and other incubators and educational institutions to help drive the funds to operate.
Final question.
So you mentioned that you have your team over there, but you're here. So how do you cope with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was definitely difficult in my freshman year. I think I was really split between time zones, so they kind of work in our favor. Even in high school, we were mostly a remote team. So I was coordinating with students from all around the country, and we've established a pretty good workflow. A lot of successful companies are also remote. And the challenge is really just finding students who are also driven and dedicated about building products in the region who also are able to cope with the remote workflow. But yeah, we've been operating in that way for the past few years, so it's been good.
Thank you very much, Develop. Up next is a venture that focuses on childhood development and early education. Please give it up for Snugs.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Megan Sardis, and I'm the founder and CEO of Snugs National.
And I'm Brigitte Burgess. I'm CMO and head photographer of the Yale chapter.
Thank you all for coming out today. Please raise your hand if you know a child who has a disability. Okay, that's a lot of people. So according to the CDC, 1 in 51 children are on the autism spectrum. Accidental drowning accounts for 91% of deaths of these children. This number is increasing every year. This is a huge problem that's affecting many families. In addition, children with intellectual and/or developmental disabilities suffer from low self-esteem, communication challenges, and learning impairment. Snugs National provides a solution to both of these problems. What we do is we bring free swim clinics to university campuses across the country. We serve children between the ages of 3 and 18 who have some sort of intellectual and/or developmental disability. Our program has seen massive success so far. Our Yale chapter now serves over 150 children in the New Haven area. We engage over 100 Yale student volunteers. We have 4 chapters registered with Snugs National: UC Davis, Amherst College, Cornell University, and the University of Pennsylvania. We have 3 more universities interested in starting a chapter. Our work is not only a safety imperative, but it's extremely therapeutic. Formal swim instruction is shown to reduce the risk of drowning by 88%. In addition, it's proven that swim lessons for children with special needs improve their mental, physical, and emotional health. Our ask is simple. We need money to fund background checks, lifeguards, and pool times at our campuses. A donation of $10,000 would go a long way to ensuring the health and safety of disabled children across the country. Thank you so much.
Time for some questions. Yes.
You mentioned 91%, I think, as a growing number of potential deaths associated with people with autism resulting from drowning. You mentioned this number is growing over time. I'm just curious, like, can you give the absolute value just to understand like how big the problem is? How many students are actually, or how many people are actually drowning, and like what's that number like over time?
I don't have the actual statistic, but a 2017 study verified that the number is growing, and the National Autism Association gave that statistic of 91%. So I'm sure there's some more specific information on that, but I don't have it on the spot. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hi. How come you're focused on college campuses rather than someplace in the community that be more accessible to the children that can benefit from it?
So the way our chapter system works is we register as student organizations on university campuses. This allows us to get funding from university campuses, and also we're hoping to engage young people, young students with the disabled community in order to instill like a lasting commitment to service among young people.
Final question.
Yes.
What's been your biggest challenge so far?
Our biggest challenge has been funding. So our Yale chapter, we run background checks on every single volunteer, and background checks cost us $60 to $100 per volunteer. And given that we have 100 volunteers, that's a lot of money. So figuring that out has definitely been our biggest challenge.
One quick question. Do you have any measures of impact?
Measures of impact.
Yeah.
Our metrics, we usually just count how many children we serve, how many volunteers we're serving, how many campuses we're on, the amount of money that's coming in, and the amount of money we're spending.
What are those?
We're serving 150 children in the New Haven community. Okay, awesome.
Thank you very much. Up next, the spin wheel.
Right. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily.
And I'm Elise.
And we're here representing the Society of Women Engineers outreach team, along with our colleagues who have joined us. All of us up here are PhD students in either physics or engineering and represent some of the few women in our respective programs. This issue of representation in the field starts very early. When students in middle school, even younger, are not given the skills or encouragement to pursue these fields. To combat this, we've created the spin wheel.
The spin wheel is a wearable electronic device that can be used as an earring or sported as a keychain. It has 20 very well-designed LEDs that can be programmed to do a host of different things using its 3 different sensors. It has an accelerometer, a gyroscope, as well as a magnetometer. So it could be used to sense motion, count steps like a Fitbit, and even be used as a compass. Its possibilities are endless and simply up to the user to program with our handy-dandy programming guide.
So this will be sold on Kickstarter in the spring, and 100% of the proceeds will go towards funding more Society of Women Engineers outreach activities. So each year we put on up to 10 activities that reach hundreds of students across Connecticut, and in particular we focus on engaging young women through artistic and hands-on projects.
So as mentioned, we will start our Kickstarter in the spring, and we need your help to make this Kickstarter a success. Please visit our website at spinwearables.com and sign up for our email updates. We will go live in the spring and can't wait to have your support. We believe that every student has the curiosity and the capacity to engineer a better world. Our SpinWear device will just remind them. Thank you.
Some questions? Yes.
Just curious, how much are you guys raising?
So we plan to sell about 1,000 kits. That would raise about, on average,
It'd be like
about $10,000. This would fund about 3 years worth of our outreach activities at Yale specifically, and we're hoping if we scale up above that, we can fund even more events if possible.
How do you plan to mass produce the devices?
Go for it. Yeah. Well, Stefan's been in charge of this one. Yeah, so we'll be using a company to fabricate all of these. The 1,000 is the number that we are targeting because that's when it's scalable enough that it becomes cheap enough to do this sort of thing. We'll be sort of kitting and packaging ourselves, but a company will, do the production for us.
How does the hardware integrate with the software, and how does the coding work? How do you program this to do all these different functions?
Yeah, so part of what we're doing is we actually designed like 100% of this device as a team. We were doing that this summer. And to go along with the hardware, we're creating lesson plans. So we didn't get to talk about it, but there's going to be like a whole education side of this that we can also use that's going to be on our website. It covers math, an engineer's diary, physics lessons, and also like coding and engineering to go specifically along with our device.
And the chip is an Arduino-based thing, so it'll be very easy to program and really accessible for people to find other resources as well.
Final question?
I see two really excited kids. What kind of feedback are you getting from them about SpinWear?
So we actually had the chance to prototype this device at a national women's conference this past weekend. We actually showed this device to about 1,000 middle school girls, and they were very excited. Some students described it as cute. Some of them were even describing what they could use it for, ways that we didn't even think of. They were describing how they would put it on their bicycle so that cars and other people could see them. Students are very innovative, and if given the right technology and tools, they can go really far. So we're really excited, just the feedback we received from these students.
Thank you very much, Spinwheel. And that brings us to the final venture of the night. We may have saved the best for last, or we may have not. I will leave the decision up to you. That's not a value judgment, people. I'm really not trying to throw anyone under the bus here. Please welcome Andamia.
Thank you all for being patient. My name is Alberto, and I'm here to present Andamia. Did you know that the World Economic Forum has identified Latin America as the region with the largest skill gap in the world? This is mainly due to lack of access and quality of higher education in the region. Actually, the OCDE has calculated that approximately just 44% of youth go to higher education, and just only like half of them end up graduating. So this is a massive problem for organizations that then have to train their employees when they hire them, and at a very high cost. And as an educator, I have seen this problem firsthand. So I came to grad school to try to find a solution to this problem, and found out that the combination of collaborative learning and digital technologies was the right way to train teams at scale. So let me explain how our solution works. Imagine that we are all part of a sales team and that our manager wants to train us. So we will basically follow what you are seeing in the screen. You will enter to a virtual room code with your smartphone, and you will be able to see an expert that will guide you throughout the workshop. After that, our software will be able to send to your devices collaborative activities that are super cool. Then the software will also assess you and provide immediate feedback. And finally, your manager can get data immediately to make the team better and stronger. So soon after we started Tsai City, we developed written wireframes to test our hypothesis. And we have now a digital MVP to continue testing our concept. We have partnered with Teach for Peru to train about 100 teachers across the country, and with Benji.com, a Canadian startup, to upload our content to their platform. We want to continue testing our product, so we'll be very happy to share it with you and in exchange for feedback. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Final questions of the night. Yes.
What does your team look like right now, and how do you plan to develop the product going forward?
So currently, I just have a co-founder, a technical co-founder, who is a software engineer and has worked for 5 years as a software engineer and as a product manager. And he's currently doing a master's in computer science at Georgia Tech. And I have worked in the education space in Latin America for about 5 or 6 years. And I've done research in the intersection of collaborative learning and digital technologies. So that's our team as of now, but we are aiming to hire 2 computer science undergrads in the next couple of months to make our product better and have the software ready to start selling on the second quarter of next year.
Yes.
So is this going to be a 1:1 workshop? And if so, how would you find that many trainers at the same time?
Was your question if it's going to be a 1-to-1 workshop? Or so imagine that, like, if you are part of a team, the whole team will join the virtual room, and you will all be working together, and the software will recognize that, for example, your team has 6 people. So it will connect all you together, and it will send different activities to each of you so that you can collaborate together while you are learning. But that's basically, I didn't catch the second part of your question. What was it?
How would you scale it? Because then there's a bottleneck there, right?
So it's basically, all the sessions are preloaded. So we get the experts, we produce or film their sessions, and then we can repeat that session 1,000,000 times if we want. So basically, this is a way to make a workshop scalable and at a very low cost.
Yes.
Roberto, fantastic presentation. So I get the vision and strategy, like targeting Latin American school teachers. I'm curious about like the tactics, like the hook, like what like first workshop presentation, like what content do you think is one of your first?
That's a good question. So, and mainly because all the online learning platforms out there usually sell products that are related to like training you in a hard skill. We want to focus in managing and soft skills. And there's a reason why they sell that. It's because it's easier to learn that individually. But management skills, like you have to learn those in collaboration with others. So our first content that we are actually right now developing with Teach for Peru is about adaptive leadership. They are creating the content for us for free, and they will be able to use it to train their teachers, and we will then be able also to resell that content to other organizations. So that's basically the first content that we are developing.
Final question?
Yeah, you mentioned the skill gap in Latin America. I'm wondering, like, why else would you have decided to launch this product in Latin America as opposed to other countries, and like, how have you sort of thought about scaling it internationally, possibly?
Yeah, so first Latin America, because as you said, there's a problem that we want to address out there. But there's also a huge opportunity. There's Latin America, in this space, the market is about $3.3 billion. And it's growing at like a 14% CAGR rate. So, and there are not many strong competitors out there at the moment. So we believe that by being a first mover in the collaborative online learning solutions, we would be able to capture a large market. And we also know the context pretty well, so that's why we want to start there. But we don't discard opening to other markets in the future.
Thank you very much, Andamia. And that is all, folks. Yeah. Thank you all for coming tonight. From both myself and Zoe and everyone else at Tsai City, we are so grateful that you managed to come out and support our teams during their final presentation of the year. We do have some cookies outside for you to nosh on, and if you're interested in talking to the teams, they will also be there. They may even have some business cards for you, who knows. Please enjoy and have a wonderful night. Thank you again.